すでに直しといた。一旦おめえを直せばよ。これで全然卑怯じゃねえわけだな。すげえ爽やかな気分だぜ。
So because going through skill trees can take a while and can be quite complicated, I'm going to keep this quite brief so that way it's easy to follow. And it is just going to be my recommendations, and these are usually the skill trees I follow, give or take a few skill points. So I'm going to walk you through each skill tree I use, starting off with Hermit Purple. So first of all, I unlock Divining Information, shows you everyone, very helpful for Steel Ball Run, only costs 1 point. Geostar Run is very good for getting away and catching up to people, it's not that expensive either. Grapple, you obviously need, it's like almost all your moves. Vine Trap, you definitely need as well. Double Vine Slap, same thing with the other two moves. And Vine Mastery, you need this, practically. It increases your distance and your Vine Slap damage. If you're running Hamon, definitely get this in the skill tree because of the burn is very nice. You don't have to get this as this is 6 points, but I do like the extra proc rate. It's up to you really. I basically just get everything. It's worth it in my opinion. It's not that expensive. With Star Platinum, Inhale is a given. You have to. Same with Starfinger. Very good move. Maxing out your destructive power is also like a must do. Same thing with Aura Kicks. Very good move. Now with Stand Jump, you can get the last one. I personally opt out of it because I prefer to save myself to skill points because I don't usually Stand Jump that often anyway. Rage is also a given. Maxing it out is cheap, so you might as well. Time Stop Resistance is obviously very good. Time Skip as well, very good move. Gets you other abilities. Some people may be saying, why no Time Stop? Because it doesn't last that long and it consumes all your rage, and I personally like to use the rage for defensive purposes as well as the attack increase. It's up to you though, you can if you want, I just personally don't. So for the worlds, it's basically like the same as Star Platinums, but just the world moves instead. So I max out knives because of it's not that expensive and knives are really good. You can confirm kicks off your barrage, which is very helpful. Destructive power, obviously max out. And then with Stand Jump, it's like the same thing with Star Platinum. If you have the extra points, you can if you want, but it is literally only movement, and if you're not using it that much, there's no real point. I do the same thing like I did with Star Platinum, where I don't unlock the world. Like I said earlier, you can if you want, it's just a lot of skill points, and I honestly massively prefer Rage, but that's just my preference. But something I'm going to say is that if you are going to get the world, you're probably best to max it out because of the base time is really short. And Road Roller, well, just obviously. For Silver Chariot, it's kind of easy. You just unlock everything. Shed Armor, you need, very good. Last Shot, very good as well, goes through block. Destructive Power, you need in order to get the other upgrades. Million Pricks, really good move. And then Cycle Slash, another really good move. And you can just unlock it all because of there isn't many points. So for Magician's Red, I do the same thing with Silver Chariot where I just unlock everything. Everything's cheap and you're going to be using all the moves, including Crossfire Hurricane Special, Bakugo, as well as Red Bind. They're all good and they're all cheap, and the burning effects are very nice. You definitely want all of it. It's only 41 skill points to max anyway, so... So for Hierophant Green, because it's kind of old, it only has a few moves, such as Emerald Splash, Emerald Barrier, and Marionette Control. So you basically max them out because they're really not that expensive and they're really good to have all the upgrades in. And the upgrades down here are literally just Pilot, Stand Range, and Stand Speed. And if you're not going to be using them, there's no real point putting points into them. But I honestly quite like having them because it gives you a little bit more space compared to someone who doesn't have a pilot stand, but it could be a bit overwhelming. So you could put as many as you like into this. I usually like to stop here because there's no point getting more speed and range. So for Anubis, I like to unlock everything yet again, such as Enraged Fury, Cursed Blade, and Supernatural Swordplay because it increases the speed of your M1 attacks and passively breaks on the last M1 combo, which means the last hit of your M1 will always block break, no matter what. It's Very helpful, worth the 6 points. God of Death you definitely want because it adds, you know, poison proc. Death Speed Slice adds bleed and true damage. Tusk Act, you definitely want this because it's cheap and it's a very nice passive to have. I like to max out Touch of Death, some people don't. I like to have it because of I really like the extra poison procs, it can really come in clutch sometimes. Now with After Image, I only really like to get the base unlock because the upgrades are kind of pointless in my opinion. It's 15 points to max out, which means it's 5 for every single unlock, and all it does is just increase the duration, which sounds fine, but you're only going to really use this move just for iframes or to quickly get out of something, so it's not really worth it in my opinion. I showed the duration on my other video, 1 tip for every stand, in case you want to see the difference. So if I were you, I'll just not unlock these. Luckily, Cream is pretty straightforward, which, you know, it has Destructive Power, which is quite cheap to max out, as well as the fact that it has Dark Space and Void Surprise. Both are really cheap to max out, and you're definitely going to want to max out Dining, because it is, well, like I said again, cheap. It makes you eat yourself faster, which means your moves come out quicker, which is very helpful. And this is optional, but I like to max out my Dimension upgrade, because it's only 6 points to completely max out, as well as the fact that it's really good for getting away and it lasts a good while. So it's worth it in my opinion. Cream is really not that expensive. So the World Over Heavens is probably going to be one of the most requested skill trees because of it's expensive and no one really knows where to put their points. So first of all, I'd like to max out Destructive Power. Even though it's 5 points per Destructive Power node, it is worth it because of this passive, which makes it so all your damage is true damage, which means this is completely worth it. It's expensive, but it's worth it. Now for the time stop upgrades, I like to just unlock the world. I don't do any more upgrades because they're way too expensive, and honestly you don't really need the time. Considering most meta stands are TS resistant, you kind of don't really need them. The world on its own actually has plenty of time, so you can do more than enough damage with just the base unlock. Now other than that, I unlock every single move, including the healing, which is very helpful considering the fact that if you get your limb removed, you can just bring it back. I don't really do the Midas Touch upgrades. They are nice, but honestly, it's not that much extra healing, so in my opinion, it's not really worth it. But you can if you want. It's only 6 points to max. And then, like I said earlier, I just get all the other moves. It's expensive, and altogether, the skill tree costs this amount. I don't know off the top of my head, so I'm going to include it on the screen. This is probably one of the most beneficial skill trees. There's probably meta ones, but this is just for generic use. So Crazy Diamond skill tree is kind of all over the place, so hopefully I should help you with this. Basically, I unlock all the moves going in a circle because of they're all relevant, and you want to get to the beatdown regardless. Bearing shot, projectile, you're in my range, little kind of kick with a grab. Beatdown is obvious, you want that. Homing shard you really want for when you have blood slash, because obviously it homes to where the blood is. Very helpful. Crazy Wall is a block break, and it's really, really good. Heal mode is, you know, kind of useful, especially if still run. The Angelo is a very good trapping move, but obviously you have to get a stun to land it, or just hope they don't block. Now with Precision, it increases your healing and the trap duration, so I like to go about halfway. Not specifically for the healing, but literally just for the trap duration. But I mean, it's nice to have in case you ever play main game or SBR or 2v2s or something. Now with the Rage counter, I like to literally stop at the halfway point, because of any more than this, and it's way too expensive. So constant rage free and anger issues free is kind of a perfect stopping point. Altogether this isn't that expensive, and you unlock every move, which is very helpful. So the hand skill tree is probably one of the easiest skill trees to do, considering you literally max out your erasure, considering that's all the hand can really do. You unlock second erasure, obviously, because of it's literally just a second erasure. It's only 1 point. And unlocking Erasure Accelerate and Erasure Pull, I like to base lock them because of, for some reason, when you unlock them both, they add more damage to your erasures. I don't know why. It's a weird phenomenon. You can just check it out yourself. But Erasure Pull is kind of really bad. It has too much end lag for you to do anything off it, so even when you do pull someone, they can just get out of it really easily. And Erasure Accelerate is kind of bugged, where you'll accelerate and it will just slingshot you back to where you were anyway, so I don't know. Really, it's up to you because they're not that expensive. But honestly, with the state that they're both in, it's honestly worth saving it. But at least unlock them both base because they give you more damage. So, Star Platinum World skill tree is kind of the same as the World Over Heavens, where it's a bit complicated and you don't really know where to put your skill points. So first of all, I like to max out my destructive power following this line, considering the skill tree is kind of weird to look at. Max out completely. I only unlock combat precision because of, well, any longer than that and people can just wait it out, so what's the point? I only really like it just for the extra health it gives on activation. After destructive power, I also like to unlock the beatdown and the platinum slam. As well as kicks. I completely max out the kicks, which you may say is kind of expensive, but in my opinion it's worth it because of the speed it comes out in makes it really good and almost impossible to parry. As well as the fact that I unlock time stop and I get 1 time stop mastery because of the extra bit of time is nice. You don't have to because of the base time stop is about 4 to 5 seconds. But this gives an extra 1 or 2 seconds, which helps sometimes. You don't have to, I just like it. And this skill tree unlocks everything, which is very helpful. And it gives you one of the best kicks in the game because of its speed upgrades. Overall, I'm very happy with the skill tree. Maybe you could knock off the time stop mastery, but other than that, I'm very happy with it. So Red Hot Chili Peppers skill tree is something I've kind of struggled with for a while because I don't really play it that often, but I gave it my best go. First of all, I unlock lightning jabs and the lightning jabs upgrade. Same thing with Pinky Slash and the Pinky Slash upgrade. And I work my way up with electric guitar, get electrify, electric discharge, and then all of the extra passives and buffs because they are very helpful, especially this one and this one. Now I also get the persistence maxed, considering you're going to be using electrify as often as you can because of it's really, really good. Now electrify requires charge, which means that you are going to have at least 1 upgrade of guitarist, so that way you can get it. You do gain electric charge passively now, which is really good, but at the same time, it's not completely reliable for electrify uptime. So you are going to want to manually charge it as well. But because of it is passive, you don't need to get the upgrades because they are very expensive. Now with my remaining points, I like to get some pilot upgrades because of pilot stands are really good to have some extra distance, as well as to pressure your enemy a lot. So honestly, get a few in because of they're only 1 point each, so you might as well. I got 2 of each, but you can either just get 1 of each or 3 of each. It doesn't really matter. Overall, this isn't that expensive, and Red Hot Chili Peppers is really underrated. So for Killer Queens, it's kind of really simple again. I kind of just unlock everything with every single move. However, what I don't unlock is the last upgrade of Coin Collector and the last upgrade of Duration because of it is an extra 6 points if you were to get them both. And honestly, you're probably going to want to put it into spec moves or character skill tree. Honestly, as I went to go record this, I kind of forgot that normal Killer Queen exists because I'm so used to everyone playing, you know, Bites the Dust. And even that's rare. So I kind of just threw this together really quickly. I suppose you can get the last points, but it's up to you really. Either way, this is something I see myself using if I ever use normal Killer Queen. Now with Killer Queen Bites the Dust, I like to unlock everything other than the last upgrade of Duration, Coin Collector, and Stray Cat Tome. Mainly because, really, people are just going to try and outrun your bombs or dodge them, so you don't really need the final upgrades. Plus, there's enough bombs for you to cycle through all of them, and there's a lot of moves now with Killer Queen. Basically, with Killer Queen, you can kind of just spam them all, because they all kind of act the same anyway, other than Scattered Coin Bomb and Bites the Dust. Because Bites the Dust, you need to get them in your area. But other than that, just go crazy and detonate all your bombs. So for Golden Experience, I like to unlock everything, considering you're going to be using all the moves, and it's really not that expensive. 10 page beatdown is very nice, destructive power as well. Kick barrage, very obviously good. Tree manipulation is cheap. This creates a stronger bird, which is very necessary because it does more damage. Very good move. Limb removes and poisons. And obviously there's health healing. It's really worth maxing out because it's the best healing in the game. As well as to heal others heal. It's only 1 point, so you might as well grab it. G's really easy to get because you just max everything out. So strangely enough, Sticky Fingers is kind of an expensive stand. Especially with this stand here, Stamina Mastery, which costs an entire 8 points. But it is worth it because it does decrease all your cooldowns and abilities. So other than that, I unlock Zipper Pole and this move as well, which is kind of like an upgrade to that. I get living zippers, which is really good because it's kind of like a kick barrage. However, if you press the button again, it closes all the zips, which deals extra damage and stun. It says T here, but from my experience, you have to press the same button again, which is Y. I don't really know why. I don't know if that's a typo, but whatever. Zipper Slam's really good. Beatdown's really good. Zipper Extension is also really good. And I also get 2 of the upgrades. It does cost 12 points, however, I think it's worth it because the extra range is really nice. Zipper Explosion is also really good. Now, with Zipper Flank, you don't want to have 0 upgrades because it's really slow and it's honestly kind of nice. It makes it so you can quickly dip away and reposition if you're in a bad spot. It's really good for Steel Ball Run, so I'd honestly recommend having some points in there. With each point, it does get 1 point cheaper, so you could technically max it out, because of the most expensive points are the beginning ones, and they're the most useful ones. I do like to stop at stand speed 2 though, because of everything past this. It's really good, but I honestly need to save the points, because I don't have any points for my spec then. This one could be improved massively, this is just what I've found is useful so far. Let me know in the comments if you have any differences of opinion. Luckily, Aerosmith has a really simple skill tree. With that being, I like to unlock Pilot, obviously, and all of the upgrades and moves up here because they're all really cheap and you're going to use them all because Aerosmith only has a few moves. I unlocked this as well because of this is one of his only moves. I also get all the sharpness upgrades because of it increases the damage of when someone interacts with your stand. Because if you didn't know, Aerosmith actually has impact damage, which means if someone walks into your stand or you drive your stand into someone, it does damage really slowly. And weirdly enough, this also increases the damage of your barrage. So yeah, I don't know why, but just max it anyway. And for the stand range, I like to go up to about 5, mainly because I do like having range. Because of pilot stands have an advantage over stands that aren't pilot, because you get way more room. And I don't get massive piloting, because all it does is increase the speed of your pilot. However, the default speed of your pilot is already quite quick, so you really can just miss this out. And that's it for Aerosmith. You can get these if you want, but I would only recommend getting these if you're playing 2v2s or SBR. But other than that, for 1v1s, you don't really need this much range. So starting with 6 pistols, I like to get improved dash because of it's one of the best dashes in the game. Lets you dash out of barrages, which is really, really helpful. And also lets you dash out of other stunts as well. I like to max this out because it decreases the cooldown of the dash, which is really, really helpful. And then also, I like to max out the marksman, which increases the bullet speed. It's not that expensive and it's really, really good. And then also, I max out reloading with getting triple reload. Because triple reload is really, really good. Makes reloading really, really fast. It is expensive, don't get me wrong, but it is really, really worth it because you're going to want to move around a lot and you don't really have time to be reloading. Obviously, I like to get prone shot and I like to get multi-shot. And then I only like to get 1 upgrade here in the multi-shot upgrade. And I like to get 1 upgrade here in quickest hand in the West. Mainly because it's quite expensive and you don't really need it that much. It isn't that expensive and you can kind of get everything other than a few upgrades, but even then, it's not really that worth it. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this skill tree and this is the one I use a lot. So luckily, Purple Haze is literally the easiest as you max out everything. You're going to be using all the moves and all the upgrades, considering it is literally just poison. It really isn't that expensive, and the rage really isn't expensive either, and it's the best rage in the game because it builds really fast and it takes ages to decrease. Really good, just max out everything, you're going to be using it all. Literally, this is probably the quickest one ever. So Mr. President is the same as Purple Haze, where you literally max out everything because it's honestly quite cheap. You're going to be using all these moves and all the upgrades to the moves that are really not expensive at all. I mean, I've literally maxed out my character skill tree and my stand skill tree, and I've still got 28 points left. Literally just max everything, you're going to be using it all. Not really much to discuss here. So with Beach Boy, I like to unlock everything. However, I don't unlock this upgrade here, which is Rod Pull Upgrade 4. You don't really need it, to be honest, and you only really get up to upgrade 3 just to unlock Auto Rod Pull. I mean, it's a waste of 4 points because most people just parry it anyway, so whatever. Now, other than that, like I said earlier, I unlock everything, which is like, you know, all of his damaging moves and destructive power, Rod Slap, and Rod Throw. They're all really good, and Beach Boy's massively underrated. They all break block, which is absolutely amazing. More people need to play Beach Boy. I mean, I managed to climb to like, what, top 10 with Beach Boy? Watch that video if you haven't already. I spent a lot of time on it and it was really fun. So Beach Boy has a stand skill tree that I've been quite conflicted with, but I think this is the most comfortable I've gotten, so I'm going to show it to you now. First of all, I unlock all the moves here, which you're gonna want. Especially this, because it decreases all the cooldowns. Really nice. Now, Cryokinesis is a move that when you land 3 ice abilities, it removes a limb and bleeds. And all these upgrades do is increase the lifetime and the total bleed damage, which is useful, but honestly, I just prefer putting my points somewhere else. Now, Ice Skating, I do max out because I do really like it for like main game and SBR and stuff. 1v1's not so much, you could probably put it somewhere else, but I just like to use it to maneuver because it's really, really nice. Jenny Weeps I max out because it is a very good move. Come on, like it redirects all of the projectiles. Really nice. Ice Armor as well I max out because of its, you know, free defense. Really, really nice. And then Flash Freeze, I only like to put 1 upgrade in because all it does is increase the range. And most of the time they're going to be right in front of you, so there's no real point getting more range. So I'm pretty happy with this, other than like, you know, the ice skating stuff. You could put that somewhere else if you want, but that's just where I like it. But I'd recommend putting some more into Cryokinesis if you really want. So for King Crimson, I'm going to start with Destructive Power because it's obviously really, really good. It's very nice. Get both the moves Impale and Chop. Also, Epitaph is very nice. You're going to want it. I usually max out Epitaph because obviously you get more hits in because people are less likely to hit you back with it on. Now, I don't get Chop passive because of honestly, you'd rather do any other move when someone actually hits your Epitaph. Like, you could do more damage with 2 M1s rather than have this up. And you save skill points. There's literally no reason to get this. Now, Time Skip is a given. Obviously get this. And Time Erasure. I like to max this to about 3, because any more than this, you're probably not going to use the full duration, and you might as well save the skill points. Overall, I'm pretty happy with this skill tree. You could probably have more or less here, but this is just where I like it. So, for some reason, this is really bright. I don't know why. Anyways, I unlock all the moves with God Experience, which includes the Life Form all the way up to Life Ream of Creation. You need this. It's a projectile block break. I also get all the tree upgrades up until the Awakening. Now, you can put points into Awakening. I just choose not to because I mainly use Awakening just for the extra little bit of health it gives you upon activation. It is nice to have because of the pressure. However, some people just like to run away and wait it out, so I just don't put any points into it. Can if you want, I just don't. Because they are only like 2 to 3 points each. Now, with Self-Healing, I like to max it all the way up until Return to 0 and Nullification 0, because this is a counter and this is a get out of jail card, and it's, you know, as it says, cancels all time related moves. Really, really nice. Get these. Now, this one's up to you. Now, you can replace this by putting it into the Awakening. However, I like to get this because of I like to play with people. And I like to have this because it's really good for Stillbull Run and 2v2s and main game. If you're doing strictly 1v1s, don't get this. Literally just get this point. But, you know, if you're playing about, you just want a general skill tree that does everything, get this. I like this one. I use this a lot for everything. Really, really happy with it. So King Crimson's is kind of expensive, but with this skill tree, I'm still left with 21 skill points. So first of all, I like to max out the Destructive Power because of... I like to get Dimension Slash because of it's a block break with massive range. And if it does land and they don't block it, it removes a limb, which is really, really good. And you have to go through Epitaph's duration in order to get to the Chop passive. Now, Chop passive gets replaced with Raging Demon if you unlock it. I personally like to unlock it. You don't have to, because of, you know, some people say it's better to use like a boxing move after you land it or whatever, because you do save 7 points. But I honestly like it because I like guaranteed damage rather than, you know, something that could possibly be better. It's up to you though. I just like it. Now I get Time Skip and Erase Time, and I like to get to Erase Time all the way up to Reality Marble. And then I like to get 2 upgrades in Dimension Ruler because of the box is really nice to pressure someone. It's not that expensive, and I don't like to get the last 2 upgrades of Time Erase and Dimension Ruler. And you don't really need this extra Epitaph thing because of people can usually wait it out. Like I said earlier, I'm pretty happy with this skill tree. It's just annoying because King Crimson Requiem is kind of expensive, but either way I like this. For Silver Chariot Requiem, this is a skill tree I've used a lot because of, if you didn't know, this used to be my main back in the day. So I'm going to run you through this really quickly. First of all, I unlock Arrow Barrage. Really good move, it's only 1 point, you need it. Now, I do unlock Shadow Atmosphere because it makes it so when you're in your pilot, everyone gets slowed down and their vision gets slightly distorted. It's really good for pressure if someone's running away, or if you want to just troll in main game. It's really nice because the slow really annoys people. Now, I unlock Conqueror's Will, and I like to get the upgrades all the way up to Altercation 3 because of the duration's really nice because of it can make the hitbox massive. So it's really good to keep for the longest duration because it can really help with landing moves. Now with the knockdown duration, I only like to get to unlock 3 because of any more than that and you get diminishing returns, which basically means that you don't get as much value for the skill points you put in. So I like to stop here because this is plenty of time to get enough damage in. Now if you're in Shadow, I like to go all the way up to upgrade 3 again because of mainly people can wait it out. And you need it just have enough duration so that way you can get some damage in, just like every other move. And with Helping Hand, I like to go all the way up to upgrade 3 again because of any more than this, then it's diminishing returns again. Because of the defense boost and the speed is really nice, but with all of these things being in upgrade 3, there's enough of a cooldown to make it so you can cycle them all really well and save enough skill points. Overall, I'm really happy with the skill tree and I've been using it for ages. The only thing I will say is that if you're really not going to be using Pilot, you can miss this out, but this is a really good thing to have anyway. For Stone 3, obviously, I like to start off with the move right down here, which is Home Run. It's a really good move. You chuck a baseball and it makes it so they have a little cutscene where they have a bunch of hits. Really nice. Now, String Bandage, I like to base unlock it because it's just a heal and it's only 1 point, so you might as well. However, the healing, it's kind of expensive and it honestly doesn't heal you that much. Like at max upgrade, it only heals you 25. It isn't worth the skill points, honestly. It doesn't even like restore a limb or anything, which sucks. Now, I like to max out the destructive power, getting String Slam and Aura Kicks in the process, as well as the beatdown. Stone 3's destructive power is practically the same as all the other, like, The World, Star Platinum, those kind of stands, which is really, really good. Now, I like to get String Barrier because it's a stun with AoE, which is really nice. And I like to get it up to upgrade 2 because of it lasts long enough at 2 and you don't really need to get 3. And I like to get String Pilot with getting some range, all the way up to range 3. And I like to get String Lasso, because it's basically like Vine Grapple from Hermit Purple. And with range 3, you can practically grapple to the top of buildings really comfortably with this. It's not that expensive, and it's a decent range. You're not going to be really needing any more than this. Stone 3 isn't that expensive. It kind of just sucks that the healing isn't that good. But, I mean, if I had good healing, it would be kind of really strong. So, I suppose it makes sense that it's not that good. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the skill tree. I use it every time I use Stone 3. So, yeah, really, really good. So luckily Whitesnake is pretty simple, as in it only has a few moves. The first we're going to start off with Burst Fire, which is a really good multi-hit block break with range. Really, really good. The fact you can get it right from the get-go is really nice, as it's only 1 point. I thought that really fast. And then I like to get Acidic Spew because it's a poison effect with really good range, and you can make it last really long. It also blinds as well slightly, which is really nice. And then I like to get both Memory Disc and Spirit Disc, which makes it so you can deactivate someone's stand for 10 seconds or Spec for 10 seconds. And the Disc upgrade, it just affects the duration, which I like to max, considering it's the only thing in the game that can do this. Really, really nice. And the only other thing Whitesnake has is its Pilot, which I like to unlock, and I like to get the upgrade of Stand Range 2 and Stand Speed 2. Because of any more than this, then it's an extra 6 points for both. And you're not going to really be using Pilot all too much, because the range is pretty good and the speed is pretty good. Because you're only going to be really using it to quickly get someone off guard or if they're slightly away from you. Either way, like I said with every other skill tree, I'm really happy with this, and every time I use Whitesnake, I use this skill tree. So with Sea Moons, I've been kind of battling back and forth between some things, and this is what I've ultimately decided with. The first fill, I unlock Gravitational Shift, unlocking it all the way up to the max, because it's a really, really good ability if it lands. And then I also get Uppercut to the Moon, because it's one of his only damaging moves. And over here, I unlock Pilot, getting Stand Range 1 and 2, and then also getting Surface Inversion Punch, because this is one of his only other moves as well. I ignore all the other stand ranges because they're kind of expensive, and realistically, you're not going to be traveling that far with them. I also unlock Gravity Negation, which is a counter, and weirdly enough, I don't get any of the upgrades to get to the time slot resistance. Instead, I go the other way, in which I get Stand Speed. Now, there's multiple reasons why I do this, and I'll explain it now. Number one is that it's actually cheaper to get to the start time resistance. If it's only 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, 4 points. Whereas here, it's 3 points, 4 points, 5 points. By going this direction, in getting the stand speed, you actually save yourself 2 points. And as well, you also just get more stand speed, which makes Pilot really, really useful. Because of Pilot stands just have an automatic advantage over other stands because of you can create more pressure. You're only going to really be using this counter for like a frame 1 thing. Because of you're not going to really want to wait there and let the whole duration play out because it is long and people are just going to wait. I'm just saying that this is the most bang for your buck skill tree, I think. Either way, I really like this and this is the one I always use. So Made in Heavens is kind of complicated because it's a time-related stand, so I'm going to try and explain this the best I can. So starting off with the knives, I like to max these because they're kind of like the world they use old knives, in which you could spam them and they're really, really good. It's good to just constantly throw out during M1 trades or anything like that, and you know, if you're out of range and blah blah blah. They are expensive, but they're the best knives in the game. Really, really good. Now, also, I like to unlock Double Excel and work my way all the way around, grabbing Speed Slice and Heaven's Judgment, and then finally maxing out Double Excel because of it's a speed buff and it lasts ages, and it's really, really good because it increases your M1 speed and your barrage speed. Really, really good. You're going to want to keep this up as much as you can. Now, also unlocking Time Acceleration, I like to grab Infinite Speed. This can be parried, this move, so mainly you want to do it after a block break or something because of it's really obvious when it happens. And then I like to unlock Time Acceleration upgrade 1 and 2, and then weirdly enough, I like to get Universe Reset because it's like Bites to Dust where it regens some of your HP and it makes the enemy limbs kind of big, kind of like Conqueror's Will. Now, I don't put any upgrades into these because of, honestly, I think it's worth putting your points somewhere else because of chances are people are going to be far away from you anyway. And then I don't like to get the upgrade here of Time Acceleration 3 and Master Time Acceleration. Even though this sounds really good, people just won't use their time-related moves during your Time Acceleration because of you're going to be whizzing around anyway, just flying about, and they're just not going to catch you. So really, you can just save yourself the points. You could get more of these if you want, but I just like to put my points into spec moves, considering, you know, you save yourself a few points. Either way, I think I'm quite happy with this skill tree. There are some things that could be changed. Just let me know in the comments if you think otherwise. I can't believe I'm doing this, but yeah, Tusk skill tree, just get everything. There's like nothing, and it costs like absolutely nothing to max. Like, yeah, there's 5 here, 5 here, and 5 here, but like, you're gonna use it all. Just max it. I don't even know why I'm doing this. So just like Tusk Act 1, you just max everything. You do get wormhole nails, which is really nice, and instead of the focus nail, you get golden rectangle nail, which is really, really nice. And then, you know, you get slightly better glide, and you get slightly better, you know, tea time. Other than that, nothing really changes. But, you know, you can max it all out. It's still really, really cheap. I don't even know why I bothered doing the Tusk Acts 1 to 3 skill trees. So, you know how I said Tusk Acts 1 to 3, I'm going to max out the skill tree? Yeah, I kind of lied. So, I get tea time, I get nail shots, I get nail slash, I get fingernail glide, I get all these other moves over here, including, you know, wormhole uppercut, it's a new move. I get fingernail glide all the way up to upgrade 2, and then miss out upgrade 3, and I get tea time acquired taste up to upgrade 3, but not 4. Mainly because of it's 5 points for each of these last upgrades, and chances are you're not going to be gliding for this long, and you're not going to need the extra few points of HP this gives. It's like I said before, it's just diminishing returns. You might as well save yourself the 10 points. I genuinely thought this was going to be cheap to max, but it's actually kind of expensive. Anyways, I found this amusing. So for Tusk, I've kind of been battling where to put my skill points, and I've kind of landed on this so far. So first of all, I like to max out Destructive Power all the way, because of the Destructive Power is a lot higher than most other stands. Then I also unlock the Beatdown, which is, you know, a beatdown, it's really, really good. Then I like to unlock Infinite Rotation, and I do like to get this. It makes it so you can move a time stop for a long, long, long time. And then I like to get Nail Shots, Golden Nail Rectangle, Wormhole Nails, Uppercut, and as well as the fact that I like to get both of the nail upgrades because of it's a stun that locks on, and even if they do block, they have to block long enough for you to make a shot. So either way, you get value out of this because it's pressure. I like to unlock Fingernail Glide, and I don't get any of the upgrades, but I'll talk about this later. And I unlock Tea Time, and I do get 1 upgrade in Tea Time. Mainly because of this is going to be for a lot of players, and healing sands are kind of nice. Don't get me wrong, the healing isn't that much, but I remember in my other video, a lot of people told me that they do like using tea time, so I figured I would include it in their skill tree. Personally, I don't get any tea time upgrades because it's 5 points, and any more than that, and it's just really, really expensive. So honestly, I just like to get an extra glide upgrade, and I like to have the extra points into my spec. Mainly because I can fight well enough to not warrant using tea time at all. But this is going to be for a lot of players, so I recommend getting tea time at least, because of every little bit of health counts, right? And it's honestly a lot better than String Bandage, which is really weird. They need to buff String Bandage, man. So for D4C, this is a skill tree that I honestly forgot existed because of everyone usually only plays D4C Love Train, so either way, we're going through this. So, first of all, you max out your Destructive Power, because it's like the same as Tusk, where it's really, really high, so you're going to want to max it. Unlock Pocket Revolver, You know, block breaking projectile, really, really good. I max out quick draw because of, honestly, it's worth it because there's not really much to put into your skill points in D4C. Makes it so your revolver and flag comes out really quick, which is really nice. I get Dimension Hop as well as the Dimensional Self clones, and I get both the upgrades because it makes it so you can summon 2 more. And I like to get this because it makes your clone stronger. I also get Dimensional Control all the way up to this one, which makes it so you've got a clone bomb. Now, I like to stop here because of chances are you're not really going to stay in your dimension that long. And with this right here, you're not really ever going to use it because most people just let you TP. Max out everything other than these last 3 points. And you still get a fair few skill points left to put anywhere else. So D4C Love Train skill tree is kind of all over the place, so I'm going to run through this quite quickly. Again, max out Destructive Power, it's expensive, but it's the highest in the game. Highly recommend because of the M1s are really strong. Poker Revolver you get. Now Quick Draw, I like to get all the way up to 3, and that's only because I like to save room for Love Train. Now Love Train's really good because of it redirects all the damage towards you, which basically makes you invulnerable for a little bit, so you can get some hits in here and there. Now, not only does it make it last longer if you don't do anything, but it also makes it so when you do something, it makes it so it takes longer to disappear. Now, you could max it if you want, but it is really expensive. But if you do max it, you can make it so you can get a full barrage in, and they can't hit you or do anything to counter it. Like I said earlier, I like to get all the Dimensional Clones, max all this out, and I like to get Victim Clone as well. And same thing with earlier, I don't get any of these because of they're kind of pointless. UFC Love Train's kind of expensive, but it all balances out if you make a few sacrifices here and there, so overall I'm pretty happy with this. Okay, so Scary Monsters is probably one of the skill trees I'm really unfamiliar with, as I never really played it that much since launch, but I'll give it my best shot anyway. So first of all, I like to max out Dino Virus, because if you didn't know, it makes it so if you land 3 moves, and if they're below a certain amount of HP, they die. Basically, and all these do is just increase the threshold, and it's just really good to have, honestly. Now I like to unlock all the moves here, here, and here. Now I like to get the extra upgrade here, which allows 1 extra bird, and this makes it so they have more HP. I don't really bother with these, and I'll explain it all later. I get this upgrade here, which makes it so the Dino Barrage does more damage. I don't get these 2 last upgrades, I don't get these 2 last upgrades, and I don't get these 2 last upgrades. Mainly because of they reduce cooldown. They do more damage, but at the same time that's kind of unnecessary. And the reason why is because of this, Dino Form. And going inside of this means you get all your abilities again on a separate cooldown, which is insane. And if you know all your moves well, as well as spec moves, you can cycle them really well for constant cooldowns. So really, you don't need these, and you might as well save the points because of I've put in this many and I've still only got a few points left. The skill tree could probably be improved massively, just let me know in the comments if you think so. But this is a skill tree I see myself using. So the World AU skill tree is really similar to its counterpart, the World, and Star Platinum. So first of all, I like to get all the Destructive Power nodes. I like to get Chop, which is really nice. I like to get Throw Knife, and I like to get the cooldown reduction, and I like to get Pucker Revolver and Smoke Grenade. These 2 work hand in hand, and they're just really nice. And then I like to max out my Rage in both sides. And then I like to get Time Stop Resistance, and then finally I stop at Time Skip. For the same reasons I said in the World and Star Platinum, I don't like to get Stop Time, mainly because of it's a bit too expensive and it doesn't last that long compared to the stands that can just stop time without Rage. I just massively prefer Rage for the defense and attack increase, and because of it, I save myself a lot of skill points, which means I can put loads into my spec, which is really worth it in my opinion. With that being said, you still can get it, it's just a sacrifice of more points. Overall, I use this skill tree every single time I play the World AU, really happy with it. So for base, soft and wet, I like to unlock all the moves, such as Friction Plunder, Shovel Barrage, Friction Beatdown, and I unlock all the moves here, which is Bubble Generation, Bubble Prison, Moisture Plunder, and Vision Plunder, and I like to get all of them to upgrade 3. Mainly because it's a bit expensive to put it into the extra ones, and there's enough moves for you to cycle through all of them. And if you're wondering why I actually do put more points into the healing, and that's because the healing is actually decent, because it grants a shield and it makes you go vertically up, which is really nice. This is probably one of the best heals in the game, next to GE, GER, and the World Over Heaven. Now, the funny thing is, for the next skill tree, it's the exact same other than unlocking Go Beyond. So, yeah. Literally, it's the exact same skill point other than unlocking this, which is Go Beyond. It costs an additional 5 points to the original skill tree, so just keep that in mind. And it does more damage with spin, so that's also really nice. Not really much to say, because I've basically covered the exact same thing with the other skill tree. It's literally the exact same stand other than one additional move. There's not really much else to say with Soft and Wet Go Beyond. And we're finally at the end of the video. Honestly, I did not expect this video to be this long at all. This is my longest video yet. Sorry that this video did take so long to come out. I just wanted all my information to be up to my standards, and I didn't really want to put out any misinformation. I just wanted all these skill trees to be something I could see a lot of people using, and that I can see myself using often. Hopefully this video did help you guys out with some skill trees. And if you think otherwise, let me know in the comments, as I want to hear your guys' opinions. And with all that being said, thank you for watching. Sorry that this took so long to come out, and I'll see you in the next video.